What's good, YouTube? It's Little Derek Comics back with another video, and today we'll be doing another comic breakdown. So today we're going to be looking at Marvel Rivals Infinity's comic, and it has some very interesting cover art. So we're going to talk about that in this video and just kind of talk about why it looks a little bit off-putting. I've seen people like talking about it online. So and if you like content like this, go ahead and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So I'm in here in the software, and I'm just gonna kind of pick apart the things that I feel are making this look a little off. So first off, I want to start by giving the artist some praise. These are weekly comics, so you're not gonna get consistency every single week, no matter how good of an artist you are. And I think this is a great artist that made this. I think they just made a slight slip up, in my opinion, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about what's good about the comic. So first off, Doom looks great here. I like how everything is rendered. I like the shadows, the really black undertones. That's what you see in a lot of comics. The kind of blending that's going on here, the highlights, everything's done really well, especially the foreshortening in the arm. Yeah, you can see how the arm kind of goes inward, like at a triangular kind of angle, how it gets shorter as it goes downward. Whereas normally just standing up, the arm would be pretty straight if you're looking at it forward. And then the same thing with the body, how it's kind of going inward, and then you can see the legs kind of get skinnier down here. That's done really well. I love the flow of the cape and how it kind of covers up the page. It's a really nice shot. I like the kind of simple like brush background that you have down here, and then the white space is done really well. And even with Luna, right? You know what I'm saying? It did pretty good right there. But no, all jokes aside, but even with Luna, the way the body's rendered, the kind of dip in the back right here is nice. The way the legs are kind of hanging. She otherwise looks like she's getting choked out, the way she's kind of holding his arm. But the issues we run into are the head. Like it's really just the head. Like if you remove the head, for prime example, right? If you didn't have the head and you just made an assumption about this work, you would think she was like looking at him head on, or she was like maybe looking upward or something like that. She'd maybe be looking upward towards the sky. So like say her hair could like come down here, and then she'd be like looking up, and then you might even see a little bit of her nose peeking up at the sky. That feels like it fits the flow a little bit better. It kind of makes a shape, like kind of goes with this shape of, going in and arching. It fits that really well. And again, they could have had it so she's like looking toward, let me see. So she's like looking directly towards him, like, and it could have been a more aggressive, like angry face. And then you could have had like the back of the hair here, and then she's like looking directly at him. But the awkwardness of what we got is like, when I put it back, it's this kind of almost joyful look. And it's like her neck is almost getting snapped. And for her to look so positive through that, it just makes it seem off. Like I said, everything else is done beautifully. And even the face is drawn beautifully. But so let me rotate this a bit. The face looks way too cheerful for somebody who's being choked out by Doctor Doom of all people. And he's serious, dude. I haven't read the comic, so I don't know the context, but I know no matter the context, she shouldn't look like this, because if you're getting choked out, even if you are getting pleasure from it, you can't breathe, and your veins are kind of coming up because of the lack of oxygen, I guess. So you wouldn't be smiling like this. But she looks too peaceful. And let me try to break down some reasons it looks like that. So first off, one thing that I learned from drawing characters, this isn't anything that's taught to me. When you draw closed eyes, right? You can draw them in one of two ways, right? You can either draw them up like that, and that gives a little bit more of a positive look, or you can either draw them down, and then that gives like a calm, pleasant demeanor. So if you want to demonstrate some excitement, you go with this. If you want to demonstrate tranquility and peace, you go with this. And hers are kind of going downward, and that indicates she's kind of at peace with this moment. She's kind of like accepting it. With her grin, it probably wouldn't even be as bad if it was a light grin, like a slight grin. It makes her face almost look like not Luna. It kind of squares it off. And I got a picture for comparison, right? This Luna, you see how round Luna's face is here? That's what you kind of expect from the character, kind of round parts to the face. And then you can see Daredevil over here has got like this rigid jawline. Angela's is a bit more triangular and squared, but like Luna has a very round face. So when it kind of breaks that, it kind of feels off. Now, granted, her jaw is coming down, but even with that, it just seems a little bit off for Luna, almost like it's a different character entirely. Because say I do the little white thing again and make some of this space vanish. When you see this, you kind of expect her face to like go down here a little bit. And again, I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just giving a little bit of perspective, right? So you see how that comes in, and that looks more like a Luna face. And if I wanted to have her screaming or something like that, and then I could even have it go downward. Well, that didn't make it too much better, but the eyes are a little too like they're facing down, right? So if I go and I just fill in this area, right? When you draw these eyes, like I said, the upward eyes kind of give you a bit more intensity and expression. So something like that. You see that? Now she's looking a bit more unpleasant. And then if I kind of squint the eyes like that, she looks like she's getting choked out, right? And you can keep those same eyebrows too. That now, it not only does it look a little bit more like Luna in the face. I swear I'm not trying to like mess talk about this artist or anything like that. I think they're a great artist. I just think, you know, the piece looked a little bit off. I'm not trying to fix the art or anything like that, I swear. I'm just pointing out some things. You see how it's a bit more of a struggle now, and she seems a bit more like Luna in the face. I think that was a big thing was that it just seemed a little uncharacteristic. And I could take it even a step further, right? And I can get these eyebrows, and then I can even make her a little bit angry. Yeah, now she's like fighting for her life, you know? But yeah. So you see how now it's more of like a fight. She's like struggling to breathe. It feels like she's struggling to breathe. And I can even change her face a little bit redder if I wanted to, but I don't think that's really necessary. Somebody's gonna comment, they're gonna be like, so you're not fixing it. I swear I'm not. I'm just pointing out some things. So yeah, something like that. And this is just I feel like, this is pretty much how it could have kind of looked, or probably what would have made it look a bit more on point. And even this looks a little off for Luna a bit, but so yeah, this is the after and this is the before. You see that? You see the difference though? Like just the change in like the eyebrow. And like I said, the eyebrows could have been left alone, but I think that gets the idea across. And again, I want to say this right here is the same artist. Like I said, the artist is a good artist. I want to say this is the same artist, but regardless of whether it's the same artist or not, I've seen these different artists make a lot of different works. Like I said, I've drawn a lot of comics for myself in my own personal work. I haven't done really any professional comics, so who am I to talk, right? But I thought it would just be interesting to kind of break that down. But yeah, I would definitely, if you haven't read the Marvel Rivals comic, it actually is a really good comic. I just thought it would be fun to come on here and just talk about this because it was like making its round. So let me know what you thought about the video. Do you want to see more content like this where I like break down comics and stuff like that? Do you like the cover art for this? Do you think I was wrong about everything I said? Let me know all that in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.